over Bama. What a great game. Tennessee beats Alabama 24-17 in what was a midday thriller. We talked about last week that the Tennessee front seven is borderline not only great, but borderline elite, and they showed it off in this game. The Tennessee front seven dominated. Bama had 34 rushes for 75 yards. Milroe got sacked 3 times. James Pierce, who had somewhat been on a milk carton the first part of the season, comes up with a sack and a half. Probably should have just been 2 overall sacks. Great game. Defensively, you got after Milroe, and the front seven got after that running game. The inverse happened for Tennessee offensively. Guys, you lined up and ran it right at Bama, and there was not much that they could do to stop it. You win football games up front. The game has not changed. As much as sometimes that we come out here and break games down, they don't. Tennessee was able to line up and run the football. But when I look at Tennessee, to start off with them in the victory and in this game, I thought that the running game was going to have to be something that you continued to lean on. And I thought Nico made some bad mistakes early and some critical errors. The interception he threw was really bad. But, man, after he got hit, after Nico Iamaleava got hit and went down, he had a new quarterback coming in the game and then throws a pick. After that, I thought Nico played really good. The critical third down run he had for 27 yards to keep the drive alive. You go down and score a touchdown. Big, big deal. He's got to continue to do stuff like that. He's too athletic to just sit in the pocket and not get yards. But the big pass that he had, a couple of slants, the big fade route he had that he completed when he rolled out to the right, a couple of the slant patterns they threw to Brew McCoy. Is Tennessee starting to find their way a little bit more offensively in the passing game? We knew that the run game had been there. Dylan Sampson is an outright freak. And I quite honestly believe that Sampson needs to be in the Heisman Trophy conversation. I don't care what anybody tells me. I don't care, oh, well, this guy might be better. This guy might be better. I don't care about that. Dylan Sampson is a dude. 26 carries, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He is winning Tennessee football games. And I think Tennessee is built like a championship contender. I really mean that. Really good front seven defensively. Really good at running the football. Sounds a lot like Michigan last year, does it not? Now, you have a loss, and I don't think you're as great defensively as Michigan was a year ago. But that's the pattern. Georgia, Bama, LSU, all of those teams, historically, when they have won national titles, what have they looked like? They were really good on both lines of scrimmage, and they had freak athletes at wide receiver or running back in this case with Dylan Sampson. I can't speak enough at how great I thought at moments and times that this offensive line played for Tennessee. Again, guys, 41 carries, 220 yards rushing. It's absolutely insane. And finally, you were able to make the big plays in the passing game that propelled you. But that defense holding Alabama and a really good offensive play caller like Kalen DeBoer to 17 points was absolutely fantastic. Let's move to Bama very quickly. I just got done calling Kalen DeBoer a good offensive play caller. Man. Jalen Milroe was 25 of 45 for 239, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. They got suffocated. They couldn't run the football. 34 carries, 75 yards. Jalen Milroe is just not a guy that can sit back in the pocket and throw the football. I think that they are trying to make Jalen Milroe something that he isn't. When I look at Alabama and the 2 losses already that they have before November, they are trying to make the personnel that they have into something that they're not. I got to be real with you. I thought defensively you played good enough to win. It's just at the end you got broken because you were on the field so much and Tennessee leaned on you. But you had a chance at the end of the game with Jalen Milroe with over a minute on the clock to go down and tie the game, and you couldn't. You throw a pick and Tennessee wins. I think your O-line, for what it's worth the last couple of weeks, has kind of been pushed around a little bit, especially in that interior. I think that Jalen Milroe, along with Kalen DeBoer, are making really bad decisions. And I think you're a highly undisciplined football team. And that's actually not a DeBoer thing. You're one of the, and let me explain, you were one of the more penalized teams a year ago under Saban, and that man has more discipline in his pinky finger than most of America has as a whole. Everything that you can do to get beat is what Bama is doing. You're not effectively running the football. You're making bad decisions in the passing game. Jalen Milroe had multiple times where he had 2 reads and he's going to his 3rd, 4th, 5th progression, and then he's trying to throw the football. He's not that kind of player. He's just not that kind of player. 2, 3 reads max, get out of there, get yards. I don't know why this is so complicated. But making him sit back in the pocket for 45 passing attempts is, number 1, a horrible game plan, and number 2, a horrible decision. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Tennessee, the Volunteers, were able, in a big-time rivalry game, come out with a win. If you would have told me 4 years ago that Josh Heupel, going into year 4, would be 2-2 against Alabama, I might have called you crazy. It's not missed upon me what Josh Heupel has built at Tennessee, and if they continue to do what they're doing, guys, they're a contender. I know that Arkansas loss sucks. I know that Arkansas loss really stings and stinks. Doesn't matter, man. Tennessee's here to stay, whether you like it or not, and that's a big-time win over what is still a really good opponent.